Today, I'm here to explain about this question. Find the derivative of the following functions. Let's start with number 1. To solve this question, you can also use the definition of derivative, which is f prime of x is equal to limit f of x plus h negative f of x over h and x approaches 0. But as you know, this is more time consuming and it's more annoying. So let's just use the formula, which is ddx n x to the power of n is n times x to the power of n negative 1. It might look a little bit complicated, but this notation means this one. Like, these are saying same things. Yeah, it looks complicated, but it's all the same. So this means the derivative of this function. So if the function is x to the power of n, the derivative of this function is going to be n times x to the power of n negative 1. It's pretty simple, isn't it? And n can be any real number. It can be just 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, and it can be also negative 1, it can be also negative 1 over 2 or something. It can be any real number. Okay, so let's use this one this time. Okay, then let's work on this one first. Number 1, y equals to x squared negative 5x plus 2. And to find the derivative, you do it by terms. So in this case, you have 3 times 3x squared negative 5x plus 2. You do it one by one. So firstly, x squared. This means 3 times x squared. So you can just leave 3 for now. So you can just have to think about x squared. X squared, according to this formula, n just comes out. So 2 just comes out here, and times x to the power of n negative 1. So 2 negative 1 is negative, 2 negative 1 is 1. Okay, then for the next one, negative 5 times, okay. So it looks a little bit tricky. X, there's no number here, but actually the 1 exists here. Even though you can't see it, even though you can't see it, but 1 always exists here if there's nothing written. So 1 comes out here, and x to the power 1 negative 1, which is 0. And the last one, this one is also a tricky number. If there's only constant number, if there's no x with it, the derivative of constant number is always 0. Yeah, you need to, if you don't know, you need to know that, you need to remember that, okay? And let's solve it. 3 times 6 times x, which is 6x, and negative. And this one, x to the power of 0 is 1. Because anything to the power of 0 is always 1. So negative 1 times 1 times 1 is negative 5. Actually, that's it. And let me just erase this one. So for the next question, y equal 1 plus 1 over x plus 2 over x squared. Yeah, this is also a tricky question because this one is not the form of x to the power of something. So let's change it to make it easier. 1 over x is, can you change it? 1 over x into x to the power of something, which is negative 1. Okay, so this one we can change it like 1 plus x to the power of negative 1 plus 2 times x to the power of negative 2. Yeah, because x to the power 1 is x, of course. X squared is x squared, but x to the power of negative 1 is 1 over x, and x to the power of negative 3 is going to be 1 over x cubed. Okay, that's why it's going to be like that. So y prime is, again, the derivative of constant number is always 0, plus this number just comes out negative 1. Okay, let's just get rid of this one. Negative 1 times x to the power of negative 1, which is negative 2. Okay, let me just erase here. Plus 2 times negative 2 times x to the power of negative 2, negative 1, which is negative 3. So the answer is negative 1 over x squared plus, which is negative 4 over x cubed. That's it. You can also answer like just as it is, negative x to the power of negative 2, negative 4 times x to the power of negative 3. You can just answer as you like. So for the next question, y equal to square root of x plus 2 over x. This one also is a tricky one. So, but let's change the form of this one first. Can you change it? Square root of x is x to the power of, yes, 1 over 2. So 2 times x to the power of 1 over 2 plus 2 times x negative 1, which is 2 times 1 over 2 times, because this number just comes out here, and 1 over 2 negative 1 plus 2 times negative 1 times x negative 1, negative 1. Let's calculate it. This one is going to be negative 1. So x to the power of negative 1 over 2, negative 2 times x to the power of negative 2. That's it. So these are a little bit complicated. So I recommend you to just change this one into x to the power of something.